you fish freaks? Welcome to episode number 144 of the KFO show, Kayak Fishing Obsessed. And if there's one thing that I've learned after fishing, reviewing, and spending time in dozens of different kayaks over the years is this: not all kayaks are created equal, and not all companies are created equal either. Some kayaks are built by anglers who truly understand what happens on the water, and others feel like they were designed in a boardroom by people who never skipped a jig under a dock. Some companies are constantly pushing innovation, listening to feedback, and making products better, and others are content with keep selling the same thing year after year while making decisions in a vacuum. And tonight, we're talking about all of it. Joining me is none other than Andy Dill, the bearded paddler, as we break down the best and worst fishing kayaks of 2026. We're going to talk about the boats that impressed us, the boats that disappointed us, and everything in between. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's talk kayaks, because some brands may not like this conversation, but anglers are probably going to love it. So before we hop in, Wyatt, we all love discussing the latest features, right? The newest releases and which kayaks are best for our style of fishing. But none of that matters if you don't make it home safely. That's why Chad Hoover and I created KFAST, Kayak Fishing Advanced Safety Training. So whether you're brand new to kayaking or kayak fishing, or you've been doing it for years, if you want to become a more safer, more confident angler, head over and check out the KFAST Basic Certification, because the best kayak in the world is the one that gets you home safely at the end of the day. Head over to kfast.co and earn your certification today. Wyatt, let's freaking go, brother. How you doing?
What's going on, man? Doing all right. So you got the captain or the guide level coming out soon, right?
The guide level. We got advanced coming out soon.
Advanced coming out. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
All
we'll
right.
see what happens there. So,
Good deal.
how you been?
Been pretty good. I'd say miss you last week. You're out there fishing without me.
Oh, I know. Freaking sucks. I don't know where my guest went. He was in the green room. He is no longer there. He is gone. So I guess we could talk a little bit. So you still have a job?
One of the kayak companies kicked in the door and cut his internet.
Yeah, right. I got a couple are already giving us warnings on Facebook. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. My goodness. So Wyatt, what everyone wants to know, and yes, everybody, I know I have a glitch. I don't know. I'm using a new computer. There's a glitch if you're watching this live. So we'll get through it and I'll figure it out hopefully for the next time. But Wyatt, favorite segment of the show. Do you still have a job, my friend?
Still have a job.
Have you been given a talking to recently?
Not yet. Not yet. I have been sat down in the office because for some reason my store is number one in the company for selling koi keys. Don't know who's buying them all. Could not tell you.
Are you kidding me?
dead serious. Yeah.
You're number one in the country.
No, number one in the company for selling the hags somehow. I don't know who's buying them, but
oh man, that's
wild. I don't know who has a box of like 50 of them sitting right in their house.
So are they hard to keep? I mean, if you guys didn't see last week's show, we had, or 2 weeks ago, we had Austin Hoover on. And if you're really interested in like figuring out this bait that's kind of taken everybody by storm, definitely watch that, because if you want to learn about the rigging and the rod and the reel, the line, and what to do, what not to do, Austin's been fishing
all my rigging problems.
Yeah, there's a lot of rigging problems, even from that 2 weeks ago. So I need did it? You said it fixed all of your rigging problems? That's awesome.
I lose no more fish now. It's great.
That's awesome. But it's evolving. So now people are doing like frog hooks, and it's evolving past that. It's getting wild. It's getting wild and crazy. So, oh yeah, heck yeah.
frog hooking that one.
The frog hooking that one. Oh my gosh, I'm here I'll be throwing it tomorrow. I'm heading up to Lake Erie. We're gonna see. I got a little small one. The Spinker is what I think I got on Amazon. One of the cheap ones. I'm gonna be drop shotting that one, and then the ones that you put the juice on. So I got that hooked up as well. So it's going to be a good time. We'll see what I can pick up at Lake Erie. Maybe a walleye. We'll see what happens. All right. Well, it looks like our guest is back into the green room. So let's go ahead and welcome him to the show. Andy, how's it doing, brother? You got me.
What is going on? Yeah. I'd got something on my keyboard. I was wiping it off, and I just shut down the whole operation there. So.
There we go. I love it. This is hot out of the gate. We already got 101 live right now. So this is going to be a good show tonight. I'm excited. And so let's just go ahead and hop in, because I have 50 questions, like literal 50 questions to walk through. And it was interesting because when I posted this earlier today, I had someone like, how are you supposed to pick the best fishing kayaks? Like you got lake and you got river. I was like, we're going to talk about them contextually. So we'll get there. Yeah. And so this is the third year, Andy, we've done this. We do the best and worst fishing kayaks 2020 2024, 2025, and now 2026. We've had companies get upset with us, write us afterwards, send us their kayaks to do an actual review. After I did the review, I never heard from them. I don't think they liked my review. We have companies already on Facebook giving some pleas about what we should and should not do on tonight's show. So we're going to be talking about that as well. This is going to be a good one.
Oh man, it's going to be a barn burner. And
I know.
We're not sponsored, so there's no telling.
All right, so
telling.
First, let's get something out there, right? Because people are. We talked about this a little bit in the green room. I think it's important. People are like, oh, you know, Andy's biased, Daren's biased because he loves Bonafide, Wyatt's biased because he likes Old Town, and just want to get out there right out of the gate. Yes, we're biased. We have been in a lot of kayaks. Andy's worked on a lot of kayaks. We've seen a lot of crap kayaks. We've seen a lot of great kayaks, and because of that experience, you're absolutely right. I'm biased out my rear, 100%. Like we know what we're looking for.
It's not paid bias, but it is bias. Yeah, personal 100%. Bias. Yeah.
There's no one who doesn't have a bias. So just going into that, just know it. We try to be fair in the same breath. But in the same breath, you know, we like what we like, and we try to break down for the most part. A lot of creators like to break down what it is they actually like about these kayaks. So let's go and hop right into it. And in your opinion, what's the single most important thing a fishing kayak must do well?
Two things, but really it's got to be riggable. So, and you hear people talk about rigging a kayak up. So you get a kayak, you get it out of the box, you bring it home. What you're going to do with it is going to determine how much you like it. Nobody keeps it completely stock. It's like buying a motorcycle. You know, what is the first thing you start thinking about is, okay, all this stuff I can do to it. So, you know, is it thoughtfully laid out? And that's another thing. So a lot of these kayaks are coming from the factories ready to go, you know, where if you want to put a live scope on it, you want to put bow mount or stern mount, or, you know, you want to do all this stuff to it, it's coming a lot easier. So eventually, and we're in 2026 now, so why we're not doing this across the board, where it just amazes me that you still have to drill some holes in kayaks today.
That is crazy.
Yeah. But to me, you know, it's got to be laid out thoughtfully. It's got to be made and designed by people who actually fish out of these kayaks, not an engineer in the boardroom drawing something up for, you know, a room full of people who never will float on water. And then two, it's got to be sturdy, heavy duty. We're talking about fishing kayaks. So, you know, you never want to buy a kayak that you're not going to be able to take any gear on, because that's what we do. You know, I'm not talking about just big guys. I'm talking about taking gear, batteries, motors, tackle. You know, we all have a tendency to pack away a week's worth of tackle when we still throw the same 2 or 3 lures around. You know, a kayak that's going to do that. You want room. You want heavy duty. You don't want a weak, fragile kayak that is not going to be able to be customized in any way you can, because that future proofs it a little bit. It makes sure where you're not having to buy these for every 2 or 3 years, you know. Sure. Granted, me and you probably mirror that quite a bit. You know, seems like I'm buying something new every year, but it's something, you know, it's something I look for. It's like, you know, okay, what can I do with this? You know, I'm not looking to just float around. I'm looking to do some crazy stuff with it and enjoy my time out on the water like I want to.
So here's a question for you, and you too, Wyatt, because I'm doing a video. I just got that editing it today, so it's kind of done, right? So what you say is not going to influence it at all, but I am curious on your thoughts, because I'm doing like a under $1,200, what I would buy as a beginner today. And I had a hard time recommending kayaks that fell below a certain price point. I noticed that there was a specific price point in all my research and all the experience I've had with these kayaks. And it's like, I don't even want to recommend a kayak under this many hundreds of dollars. And then when it started going north of that, I was like, okay, then you start getting, you know, more comfortable seats, and you start getting better materials, and you start getting actually kayak fishing accessories. And when you get below that, you start getting molded uncomfortable seats, and stability is bad. And you get, you know, all these accessories are just kind of pieces of crap. And you're just probably not going to be happy with it. What is that number for you? What's your over under? And let me know in the comments if you're listening in live. What do you think that if you have bought a new kayak, or you're looking at it, you're like, oh, everything under this seemed to like suck. Once I hit that dollar amount moving forward, like, oh, then they actually started becoming something that I want to put my butt in and fish out of for hours a day. I'm going to write mine down right now.
Like if I was going to motorize it and rig it, if I was going to like put some kind of motor on it and rig it, it'd probably be like 1,700.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Why? So this is contextualized, right? Why it's a tournament angler. He's like, okay, that makes sense if you want to put a motor on it.
Yeah.
How about under $1,200? So between $0 and $1,200, where would you land?
0 1,200, it'd probably be that $1,000. I mean, it'd be one of the old towns that top water 120, 1,600. Yep.
No, I'm not 16. That's a 600.
Like
600. Beginner kayaks. Once you started hitting the $600 range, you can actually get a beefy kayak.
Oh, as far as like what's a beginner?
A beginner type kayak, and I even hate.
I sell them at work. The Lifetime Tetons.
Yes,
those things are rock stars for like $250, $300. Okay. They have the sit off the plastic. They actually have the raised seat on them. The tracks kind of suck, but I mean, then again, it's $300. Like if you just want to throw it in your truck bed and bounce it around and go throw it in the pond down the road, you can do that.
Any thoughts there, Bearded? We're gonna move on.
The only thing about that is what he's saying is 100% correct. It is a perfect kayak to do that. The people that buy those kayaks, though, typically don't want to do just that. And that's where things get a little tricky. That's where you see on the owners groups, where someone's like, hey, I just got this Pelican kayak at the grocery store and I want to put a motor on it. Or I want to put outriggers on it to make it more comfortable. Or I want to take the seat off and put a frame seat on it that's going to sit really high. And people are buying these kayaks with that in mind, and they don't understand that it wasn't designed to do that. And you're going to really compromise the functionality of that kayak. Like you said, if somebody's looking to put, a large pond or a small pond, or just kind of piddle around or close to the shore stuff, it's phenomenal. You can just throw it in the back of the truck. There's something to be said for lighter throw and go kayaks. I'm not saying that everybody needs to go out and buy a $1,500 kayak. Just the problem is when you're talking about like the Lifetimes and the Pelicans and the Ascends and all that, is people are trying to make them more times than not something they're not. These aren't offshore rigs that you're going to be able to just rig to the max, and they're not going to be as stable as a better quality kayak. They're not going to perform as well in the water, and there is some good marketing behind some of it. Not necessarily Lifetimes, but when I talk about the worst kayaks of all, I'm rarely talking about those because they fill a hole. They fill a void. For what they're designed to do, they're perfect. $300. You're talking about somebody that just maybe they don't have $1,000 to spend. There is no shame in that whatsoever. But if somebody is putting that in their house, saying, okay, this is going to be my tournament fishing rig, I'm going to find a way to put a little motor on it, and I'm going to do all this stuff. Like, you're going to spend more money in the long run doing that, because you're going to have to buy another kayak, or you're going to have to get some rescue gear because you're going to get out there in the middle of the water and take in water and get stranded. Like that's my only thing with those kayaks is, as long as people are educated on what they do, it's fine. It's great. They're great buddy kayaks. They're small water kayaks. There's no reason to
drag them through the wood kayaks. That's what I use them for.
Absolutely.
I haven't got ridden of mine. Yeah. Like, I might only use it 2 or 3 times a year, but if I want to reach certain places, I have to drag. Yeah. Then you get to the point where you have like 6 or 7 kayaks, and it starts to be like, okay, you got a fleet. You got one for every single scenario out there.
And then with the excuse we give ourselves is they're buddy kayaks.
100%.
All these people I know that don't have
kayaks. I got
kayaks,
a bunch of buddies.
Yeah.
All right, I want 30-second answers for the next 4 questions. You guys ready for this? Here we go. What is the most overrated feature in fishing kayaks today?
Oh, I had it before. Oh, rod holders, built-in rod holders.
Yeah.
Oh, you took mine. Yeah.
had to get it first.
Flush mount rod holders, I think, are the most overutilized, underused thing out there. All they do is they just collect water. A lot of times when people get water in their kayak, a lot of times that's where it comes from. As kayaks bend and warp a little bit when the heat, that's usually the culprit.
Like it. All right, I like it. You guys kept it under 30 seconds. What's the most underrated feature?
Underrated feature to me, speed and performance.
Yeah, everyone's like stability, and the opposite of stability is kind of speed and performance. You don't want something necessarily. A lot of people think they want stability until they realize, okay, I have stability now, and I don't want to paddle it.
Exactly.
You have to paddle stability, right?
And what do? They end up selling it on marketplace for pennies on the dollar. Yeah. And but even that, if you don't have a good performance, you put a motor on it, your motor is fighting the same battle you were fighting with the paddle. It's just you're not getting the speed that everyone else is getting on a better designed kayak. And I can add $1,500 or $1,600 in a motor on this kayak, and I'm only getting the same speed that some people are getting in a good pedal drive kayak.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I like it. Moving on to the next one. And what I'm trying to do is contextualize a lot of our thought process before we go into these specific kayaks. And we're going to talk about, the best for the river, the best for the lake, the best for tandem, the best, and the worst. We will get there. But just want to go really quick. What makes a kayak feel cheap and what makes a kayak feel premium, right? You got people who will probably listen in and you're like, hey, I have one kayak. My only experience has really been with this one kayak or no kayak at all. What should I be looking for? Because you used to sell these, right, Andy?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. And Wyatt, you sell them too, technically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. My long-term durability is fingernail. If I can stick a fingernail and it sticks into the plastic.
Is that a good test, Andy?
Put a fingernail in that plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
That was, man. So mine was cheap plastic and the touch test is what I had written down. So, and not so much like, he's perfectly said it, the fingernail test. Cheap kayaks, cheap plastics, low density plastics are going to have that waxy kind of really soft texture where you feel like you could scratch it with your fingernail or touch it, just pinch it and it flexes. And so what are you going to do when you put 180, 200, 250 pound man on it or woman? And you're going to be in danger. And, but you're also going to wonder, Sun does some crazy stuff to plastics. It does even crazier stuff to low quality plastics.
Faster.
And you're just going to be in trouble in a lot quicker, a lot shorter time span there.
My thing with the, whenever I was selling like Pelicans versus Perception, I would especially with the sit-ins, I would grab the inside of like the cockpit, and you could just roll one arm, grab the inside of the cockpit and roll it out.
That's the kayak version of kicking the tires. Is just grabbing the side and just doing the do the flex test on it.
I like it. Now before we I own a Sun Dolphin Aruba 10. I'm in love with it. So if you guys start making fun of Sun Dolphins, we have a problem. All right. I need to create a Facebook group called Sun Dolphin Army. I have a feeling that would probably
it's a good summertime kayak for how much it gets you in the water. Yeah. It's
a piece of crap. I use it twice a year, and for this reason only.
I was going to say, you could probably sell some decals, and then it would, like the kayak itself, it would falter over time.
Yeah. No, what I want to do, actually, so this is interesting. So there is a, down in Columbus, there's a fishing expo in like December, and Raccoon Creek Outfitters gives away trophies for like most rigged, the least rigged, stuff like that. I want to enter in my Sun Dolphin Aruba 10 because it has one DIY rod holder on it, and so I'm going for the trophy this year, folks.
Take your Aruba 10 and like dual graph it and all.
Yeah, there we go. Power
just
poles,
glue two iPads to it or something.
Rigged to the gills. 100%. 100%. Here's the question I have for you. The opposite of terrible plastic is obviously what makes the kayak feel premium. So give me 30 seconds on that.
As a premium seat, a premium feeling seat. So it's, granted, you can see some okay looking seats on really bad kayaks, but if somebody, and I'm talking about just a casual first time buyer, where first time they look at a kayak, obviously the plastic is going to be better quality on a good quality kayak, but your seat, so you can tell who really put the effort into seating and comfort and adjustability. Typically, you're not going to see that on a Sun Dolphin or some of your lower end kayaks. You start to really get into, like you said, that $700 to $800 range and up. You'll start to see what you get with that extra money. So the seating quality is usually the first thing that happens, where you start seeing a frame seat on there, an adjustable and a removable frame seat that you can throw up on the bank and use as a camp chair. Like that stuff is what really starts swinging the gate, when you get into a little bit more of a premium kayak.
Yeah, and then we start moving up to like the $1,000 ranges. You start getting like deck pads. You start realizing, oh man, this starts getting. So it's really interesting that $600 to $1,000 range, you can move the needle quite a bit on quality and kayak that you get if you're able to get to that $1,000 range. Because when you get that $1,000 range, you start getting to the RS 117 from Bonafide. You start getting into the what's that one from Perception?
The Pescador Pro.
Maybe it's not Perception. Crap.
It's
the Outlaw. Maybe it's not Perception. It's who makes the Outlaw?
Oh, Perception.
Perception. Yeah, the Outlaw. You start getting to that type of kayak. So it starts to get really interesting really fast. All right. Here's a question I have for you, because the number one question, if you're going to go to answerthepublic.com, which is just it coalesces everything that everyone asks the internet, and you type in kayak fishing, the number one question might be, is kayak fishing dangerous? But followed by that is going to be anything around stability. Yeah. Andy, is there such a thing as too much stability in your opinion?
1,000%.
All right, keep going.
So, and that's the number one question I get asked, I get emailed about, I get everything. And I understand it. I do. But when you're talking about, if somebody's asking me, okay, the Ucanoe, the NuCanoe UMAX and the Bonafide XTR, which one's more stable? At that point, you're so far on the stability scale, it doesn't matter. The most stable.
The XTR versus the Max.
Yeah, the Max or any big kayak.
Yeah, and the answer is XTR, but yeah, sure.
Well, it's but when you get, I always tell them, like, the most stable fishing platform in the entire market, in the entire world, is the bank. So we get on kayaks to get off the bank, but that's the most stable fishing platform. So if you're really wanting stability, you're going to be fishing from a pier or the bank. I think you're in a kayak.
People live in fear. I mean, I think it's the first number two questions. Number one, number two are like, they're connected, right? Is kayak fishing dangerous? I'm afraid I'm going to fall out, and I fish in gator infested waters, or I do this. I'm not a great swimmer. I'm kind of overweight, so I'm not sure if I can get back. To it's all kind of like,
or I have a disability or something. Like I definitely understand it. So, but when you get so far on that, then what happens is they've never been in a kayak before. So as soon as you get into a kayak, you start to get used to it. You start to feel like, okay, there's no way I can ever even flip this thing over, but I'm so tired of paddling this thing around, or I'm just not getting the speed that my friends are getting in their other kayaks. And then they want to upgrade, and they've already spent $1,000 or more on this kayak. And then they want to get into maybe an $1,800 kayak. Well, they're selling their $1,000 kayak for $600 or $700. And, it gets really expensive in the long run. So performance should matter, but I don't care if you're motorizing it, if you have a pedal drive, or if you're just paddling it, because regardless, you want it to move through the water really well. And that's the number one thing that people don't really pay attention to, is if you're just wanting stability, you're going to be working out, or your motor is going to be working harder than it needs to, or it's going to feel like a slug in the water regardless of how you're moving it through there. But you can't have too much stability, but stability is important. So I'm not saying it's not. It just, you want to have some performance with it as well.
And it's also contextualized to the person, right?
Yes. Maybe personal stability is definitely different. So,
well, you get someone who's like, hey, I stand a lot, right? And so I need a kayak, or I am afraid of whatever it is. So I hear what you're saying. Okay, I want 30-second answers to these ones, because we're going to move fast here. What's the biggest red flag when you first step in a kayak?
The floor flex.
Yeah.
I've been in some $3,000 and $4,000 kayaks. I step in it, and that floor flexes. I'm like, confidence.
Same here. Flex. The first time I ever saw the Tactical Pro from Wilderness System, that was the first thing I looked at. Was like, oh my God, the flex on this is unreal. Flex is going to cause you a lot of problems down the road. It's going to the scupper tubes are going to push to the deck. That deck's going to get softer and heat. It's going to do a lot of things. Flex is a thing. Now, you don't have to feel like concrete on it, but too much flex can be a huge issue and a big red flag.
Okay, I like it. And last question before we head into like the best fishing kayaks sold in 2026. What's worse, poor stability, poor tracking, poor storage, or poor seat, in your opinion?
I'm kind of a stickler for tracking, honestly.
Yeah? Well, you fish fast. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about you, Andy?
I fish and I stand up. So if I've got the motor going and it's sitting there trying to like swing around, I can't. Drive me insane.
Makes sense.
I think they're all important. I think poor, and when we're talking about stability, we're talking about poor stability for a fishing kayak. I think that's just a no-go.
Big red flag.
Because when you're talking about motorizing, if it's unstable, your motor and your battery are going in the water. Poor storage, like everything else can kind of be fixed. So you can throw a kayak cushion on a subpar seat. Yep. Poor tracking. If you're paddling, really good paddle technique can kind of compensate for that a little bit. Storage, add-ons can be expensive. So, if not everybody needs a $200, Blackpack Pro, even though all roads lead to the Blackpack Pro, I always argue. But storage can be fixed. Poor tracking can kind of be fixed. I mean, you can throw a rudder on or something, but again, that's added expense to fix a shortcoming. But stability, when you're talking about putting outriggers, homemade stuff just to fix the kayak, you bought the wrong kayak.
Yeah, it's time to sell that one on Facebook Marketplace and starting to look for another one. All right, so now we're going to hop into kind of the meat of the show. And when we talk about the best kayaks of 2026, really what I'm contextualizing here is kayaks that are still being sold in 26, right? So you can't talk about, obviously, kayaks not even being made anymore, but it could have been made a couple of years ago, but still being sold today. People can still get their hands on them. You can still buy them on the secondary market. That is that kind of, not just the 6 that came out this past year. All right, so let's hop in. And Wyatt and Andy and anybody else in the comment section, I want to see you guys blow this up as well. What, in your opinion, is and of course, it's all going to be contextualized, right? I'm going to say best paddle kayak. And so I want you to, of course, share why and how maybe it's just how you fish. It might help someone out there who fishes like you. Best paddle kayak out there. Got quiet.
Yeah.
Bueller.
Got real Bueller.
I'll start. So best paddle fishing kayak to me is the Crescent Shoaly. I've been in a lot of them. The Shoaly may not have the stability that a lot of people look for, especially beginners that aren't, it'll feel a little tippy, but man, you talk about throwing that thing around and really paddling it fast. Again, it's still a heavier kayak at about 85 pounds, but the Shoaly is just a good performing paddling kayak. You can still motorize it, of course, but as far as if you're just wanting to paddle it and you value paddle performance over everything, the Shoaly is really kind of hard to beat.
Mine would have to be secondary market.
Say what?
Mine would have to be secondary market.
Keep talking.
Like, paddle wise, like an Attack 120, Attack 140. Like it'd be Facebook Marketplace or.
That's a big old girl. Good one though. It's a good kayak.
Yeah. It sat super low to the water. Wind never really affected it. Ton of storage. Yeah. Seat was fantastic. Yeah.
You got someone over here who's like, no idea. Paddle is for emergency use. This is a motor user.
What is this paddle you speak of?
I love it. But you don't. Do you take your Shoaly out to the lake, or are you just talking in the context of current?
Just paddle performance. Like if I have to, don't get me wrong. You can take a Shoaly out in the lake, but if I'm just talking about just strictly paddling the kayak, if I've got to go. The New Canoe Flint is a really good one as well. But, again, these are kind of meant to be river kayaks too, where paddle performance really is kind of a premium. Yeah,
I like it. And I was actually out in a New Canoe kayak. I haven't announced it yet. I got myself hands on another one. I was surprised with how well it paddles. So, it tracks really well, obviously, because of the hull design. It's like, hey, this isn't that bad. All right. But anyways, got a video coming out.
Which New Canoe are you
Which New Canoe is that one? It can only be one of 3, right? So we will see what happens here. It launches on Thursday. I just sold my Max.
Yeah.
That went out the door, and did a video on the XTR versus the Max. So if you haven't seen that yet, head over to Wendell Fishing and check that out. All right.
Shameless plug. Shameless.
I don't mind. Don't mind at all. The beauty of having your own podcast, you
absolutely
want.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right. That's best paddle kayak. Let's talk about the best motorized kayak, in your opinion. So let your brain chew on that for a second. Let me see what else. While you're doing that, I'm going to go here to the comment section. All right. I paddle the Perception Outlaw, and trust me, sure in the best paddle kayak. It's not too bad.
Yeah. I think you would have lost half the crowd if we would have said that kayak for paddling.
100%. What else we got? Someone said, I thought my LTE was pretty easy to paddle. There we go. Tamarack Pro for work-related trips. I like it. See what else. We have any other comments in here. Someone said LTE again. All right. So back our question. Best motorized kayak, in your opinion?
So the best motorized kayak, again, with stability, with riggability, with performance in mind, to me, is the bona fide PWR 129.
Okay.
That is, I think, one of the most underrated kayaks because it came out in between. It came out kind of, there wasn't a big gap between the PWR and the XTR. Mm-hmm. The XTR is just it's that big bass boat energy. It's got everything on it. It's wide, it's stable. It's, the stand-up platform. You can just rig it out crazy. But just as far as out of the box value, I think that PWR 129 is still one of the greatest fishing kayaks ever made. And I'm in a I'm in a Nucanoe UMax. That's my primary kayak right now. The PWR is still sitting in the garage because I can't bring myself to get rid of it. It is just that good. Comes with a foot control rudder. It comes with all kinds of rigging options. Comes with a catchboard holder in the hatch. The hatch is really well thought out. The battery storage is simple but well thought out. It's in the middle of the kayak where the battery should be, whether you're bow or stern. Like, there's so much going on with that one. And designed by the GOAT Hans with Bonafide. And to me, if that kayak would have came out last year, I think we would have, after the XTR, I think we'd be talking a little bit different about it. But I think the XTR kind of shadowed it a little bit and kind of, just took some of the thunder away from it, which is fine. That's what they want to do. They want to come out with exciting products every year. And they're definitely the best at doing that right now. But the PWR to me is just, it's amazing.
Got it. Someone mentioned in the comment section, but the PWR isn't factory motorized. That's all right. We talk about motors you can put on it. Some that come factory. In fact, Wyatt's probably going to talk about one here in a second. So Wyatt, what's your pick?
Mine for the way that I fish is autopilot.
Yeah.
The center pod mount. Like, I know it's slow. It is what it is. It's slow. But having that motor so low to the center of the deck means I can fish over it. Mm-hmm. I can cast over it. I don't have a trolling motor head there in the front of the boat. Plus, it's set back a little bit, so it's I can cast over it, which I do a lot of cypress tree fishing, a lot of dock fishing, and stuff like that. And all that sidearm casting lets me get right over it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. What motor do you put on yours, Andy?
So right now I'm running a NK300. It is what it is. It gets me. I've gone stern mount.
Not the most glowing endorsement I've ever heard.
Like I said, I'm not. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor. I got it really. I got it really cheap. So full disclosure, I bought it with my own money, but I bought it at a wholesale cost. So they'd screwed up some. They'd screwed up some orders that we'd done, and we got like the gold vendor discount. And I just asked the owners, I'm like, hey, I'm just going to order an extra one. And I'm just going to buy it off of you. So I got the thing for like, I don't know, 600 something bucks a few years ago. So first world problems. I know, but if it craps out, I'm okay with that. I'll toss it or I'll part it out or something. I don't
feel like
care.
if you got 2 years out of it,
and I think I'm on year 3 or 4. So
how's it sound? Because people know my issues. I've made videos about it. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm always open to hearing other people's experiences.
I don't have that issue yet. Okay. But I'm not somebody that's using it every couple of days. So I'll take it out on a weekend. I'll do that. I've been on the river so much the last couple of years, again, shooting the series and just, doing what I love to do. But, I still go out on the lake and I still like to chase largemouth, but, and with a good kayak, especially motorizing, it's one that, I'm not a big one to do both, but, bow mount I did for a few years and I've done stern mount for a few years, and there's definitely pros and cons of that. Also, those of you watching, if you want to see a video on bow mount versus stern mount,
shameless,
go to the Bearded Paddler on YouTube and check out my newest video on the tube.
The new goal is how many times can we plug ourselves throughout the rest of the show, Wyatt?
Well, it's that
next.
bias.
Yep, you are next. I actually put a Torpedo ultralight on the back of my UMax, and I was wildly surprised how that thing moved.
Yeah,
I was
it's so fast.
It is fast for how it's a 13.5-foot kayak for how fast that thing moves.
Yeah,
I was like, wow. I should have mentioned that video. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm just now thinking about it, because that by far, because you put a Torpedo on the back of an XTR, it's like chugga 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 lugga chugga. Like, you might get 4, but I was moving, so I was wildly impressed. So that's something you're thinking about doing. You're going to be happy with your result. All right, so we talked about best motorized kayak, and this is kind of a different angle, but now let's talk about like a best tournament kayak, right? For Wyatt, I know you obviously you got a wallpaper of checks and trophies behind you. I dabble every once in a while, but I am friends with a lot of people who do this like it's their job. And so, best tournament kayak, what's your thoughts? Also, those listening in live, go and throw it in there, and why? Who wants it?
Oh, I'm deferring to the trophies in the middle there.
All right, there you go. Trophy wallpaper.
Yeah, I mean, mine is autopilot. I've been in XTR, I've been in PWR and things like that. The XTR is pretty fantastic for a tournament setup rig. I mean, I fish with all the guys who have it fully like rigged out, and it's like if you were just gonna walk into a store and say, here's a blank check, give me a dual graph, power pole, motor, everything kayak, it would autopilot or XTR.
All right.
With me, it's the XTR or the Max with an edge to the XTR. When you're talking about tournament fishing, so I'm in the new canoe right now because my style is a little different. I don't use depth finders. There's a lot of stuff I don't use. I like propulsion. I'm all about that. And I like the foot steer system that they have. I think their motor mount foot steer is just phenomenal, whether you're going bow mount or stern mount. If you're going bow mount, you can have the foot steer, a single foot steer for a rudder, or if you're doing stern mount, you can hook it up. They use a metal mandrel, so you don't have any of those cables or those crazy fishing knots that you're tying to that horrible steering triangle that are on the Newports. But the XTR, when you're talking about like graphs and you're talking about riggability, you can still walk around on it. You have a stand-up deck if you're, unless you're putting a captain's bridge up there, but there's even a mount on the very tip of that boat. If you want to stand on that stand-up deck and you want to have your graph down there, there's so many different things you can do with that. And it just takes it to another level when you're talking about tournament fishing. I think that's exactly what that kayak was designed to do. And I think that's what it flourishes at, is that tournament rig, that, trailer, to pull it up with the truck that's all wrapped, and it's got Wendell fishing on the side, or, or a Chad Hoover fishing,
big time. That's not me.
That's exactly what that kayak is meant to do. And it does it really, really well.
I don't think I have a single sticker on my truck. It's just old.
Oh, those are rookie numbers. You got to pump that up.
I know. 0 sticker on my truck. I'm kind of I'm like, if you're not paying me, your sticker's not going on my truck.
Oh yeah. I don't think I've got any stickers on mine right now.
No, it's like I'm not even going through the effort. My gosh, just not my style. All right, no Hobie mention. I see a lot of guys running Hobies, and in the tournament scene. For now,
somebody asked me about like 2019 Hobie for their tournament rig, and I'm like, you're going to have to manufacture some stuff to get the graphs and everything set up on there. Like,
yeah.
Autopilot XTR is going to be pre-set up. Like, you're not going to have a problem putting your 15-inch Lowrance transducer on there. You're not going to have issues running wiring or anything like that. Hobie, you're going to have to you're gonna have to play with it.
But you can go to Bass Pro and get all that stuff now, can't you?
I think so. I think there might be a small resurgence coming back. They have some yardage to make up.
They sure hope so.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I hope so. I'm rooting for it. I think that I've said it several times. I've been labeled as a Hobie hater. I have a Hobie in the garage, but the industry's better with them in it. But man, when you talk about a insurmountable uphill battle, I don't know that Bass Pro truly knows the uphill climb they've got coming, or they're just looking at putting a Hobie drive and an Ascend kayak and calling it good. You never know.
We'll see.
That would be a fun iCast story right there.
It's going to be interesting. I'm privy to information that I can't share, but I know a lot of conversations going on in the background, and it's just all I can say is it's going to be interesting what the next year looks like when it comes to Hobie, right? Because
I mean, let's face it. When it comes to making quality kayaks, nobody does it better than Bass Pro Shops in Lebanon, Missouri. This is my optimistic face.
Oh, you are a Hobie hater. That's some bias. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
some bias there.
We call them in the biz ticking time bombs.
Oh.
My last task in the kayak store was fixing a 360 drive and replacing the clutch and the belt assembly and all that. And I was like,
sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I was like, I've done this a lot. I was good at it, but the fact that you're good at it, and there is a property here, which I need to get some pictures of that because I know the guy. There is a graveyard of kayaks. So all the decommissioned hulls, he wanted to make like some kind of like nativity scene almost, but it was just kayaks everywhere. And they're all pro anglers. Not a good look, because we sold a tremendous volume of pro anglers, and he has all the colors. He's got all the Hobie, the 12 footers, the 14. They're all 360s, of course. They're all cracked hulls, and the people that say it's not as big of a problem, I beg to differ, but it's just one of those things where it's a great design, or it's a great thought. But everyone's got the same. I just posted on Facebook a little bit ago. Is like, what's the best kayak ever made, in your opinion? And people say, well, I want to say pro angler, but until I'm just scared of it breaking. I was like, well, then it's not the pro angler.
There's no
you can't do. That's kind of what I was kind of looking for. It's like people want to love that kayak. People want to love it. The industry wants to love it, and then the people people want to be jealous of it. It's just not there anymore. And I think they just got to scrap the 360 drive, go back to the drawing board, because there's other companies right now that seem to be doing it better, which is not hard to do right now.
Crazy Cranker over here in the comment section. I think Bass Pro is still scratching their head on what they've gotten themselves into.
Well, they got deep pockets and they're not dumb. I like to give them a hard time, but Bass Pro is very good at making money, and they will make money on it. It just depends on how they're going to do it. If they're just going to scrap Hobie and just sell a few models, the Passport, the Quest, the Compass, the Outback, because I still think the Outback is one of the best pedal kayaks out there. But nobody thinks about the Outback when they think of Hobie. They only think of the Pro Angler. They don't. They only think of the $6,000 time bomb that they sell. So they really do make a good kayak. It's just that one kayak has ruined them. You can't have your most expensive kayak in your lineup be your worst kayak. All right. And that's kind of where they're at.
I mean, if you tell me how you really feel, Andy. I love it.
Yeah. I mean,
here's the thing. It's not coming from this you've worked on, you've sold a lot of, you've seen the returns.
I've owned a pro angler.
You've owned them. So this isn't coming from just I want to take a shot at a company I don't have any experience with. It's actually quite a bit of experience.
Even dealing with them, it's just it's a trip. Anybody that's listening that has worked or owns a kayak shop and has dealt with Hobie, their reps that would come by every few months, they were policemen. You had to display them a certain way. You had to have certain marketing materials on them. You had to have a TV that was playing a Hobie marketing video on it. It was very strict. And in the last couple of years before all this happened, they just didn't care anymore. They would go through a new rep like every couple of cycles.
Oh, really?
They were just there, and they just like seeing if you wanted to order anything. I'm like, well, no, we've got 2-year-old brand new kayaks still on the floor here. And when we have some with a warranty, me personally, I'd always shield a customer from this. So, but we would get more questions asked from Hobie as opposed to a Bonafide or a New Canoe or even a Jackson kayak. They say like, yeah, just send us some pictures and then give them a new kayak and we'll take care of you on the back end. Like, get some out on the water right now. With Hobie, it's like, well, how are they storing it? You know, what was the humidity?
Find the fault.
Yeah, what was the barometric pressure that day, or you know, what was the UV index like? You know, it's like you can't, and yeah, there's, and then we have like, or you know, how are they storing it? How are they, you know, are they storing it outside? It's like it's a kayak, like it's not in a temperature controlled room. You know, like you can't. You want to take care of your stuff. Don't get me wrong, but like you can't. They bought it 6 months ago. It shouldn't be, there shouldn't be a hole in it right now.
Well, those questions are literally like questions an insurance company would ask when they don't want to pay out what they know they're liable for. Those are exactly, how can we place the fault on the user so we don't have to get another kayak out the door?
Yeah,
that's exactly what that
100%.
is.
100%. And that was the beginning of the end right there is when we started seeing more and more of that.
I'm curious, what if you didn't have like your TV playing? What would happen? I know this was years ago.
Well, they can penalize you on that. But
penalize you? It's like, I'm just going to stop selling your kayak. There's a reverse to this. Reverse.
And what was funny was, and again, I know we're kind of getting a little long-winded on this one, but the bunks, when you're talking about, you know, people like to store them on bunks. They like to do the 3-inch. And then Hobie would say like, well, you can't store them like that. Even say it in the owner's manual, you can't store it. But the racks that they give us that we get from Hobie is metal, and the metal is like this much, and it goes right down the gunnels where the scupper holes are, because they're saying if you store them on bunks, it's going to push the scupper tubes up into the deck. But literally what they make us store them on is metal, and it's about maybe an inch, an inch across, and it goes right up in there in the entire weight. So like, why is that good enough to display them and sell them, but someone can't put them on a bunk that's like this big around? Like, no, that people get really scientific when they're storing their $6,000 kayak. They don't want to damage it in any way. They're asking, one of the most common questions, how far, what's the space between the bunks? You know, how can I effectively store this and I'm not damaging my kayak? Right. You know, it's an investment.
Yeah.
Hobie says you have to store it upside down on the H-rails. Nobody does that.
No, they're heavy as crap. Right? You need like a muscle man to flip that.
Yeah, and I would tell them like you're storing it upside down on the H rails, but that's where your rudder handles are and your 360 handles. You're wanting to put it on that, which is plastic. No.
All right, that was fun. Thank you for taking
that was awesome.
Trail. Yeah, it's going to get better, folks. We're just in the best stuff. Wait till we get the worst. All right, let's kind of move a little bit quicker as we're coming up on 50 minutes here. Best river kayak. Now, I imagine you already said the Shoalie is paddling, so you think it's the same?
Best river kayak. I love the Shoalie. I love the RVR from Bonafide for two different reasons. But the U10. So I know I'm kind of biased on the U10 for rivers, for just that guy who wants the capacity to carry a lot of gear with them. If you're wanting to keep it minimal, Shoalie is phenomenal. If you want to have maybe a little both, kind of keep it minimal, but still have, a little bit more gear, the RVR is phenomenal. That drop down skeg to me with the RVR is what makes that different. And you get two different handling kayaks in one. If you want a better tracking on a river, which is fine, you drop that skeg down. If you want to spin it and maneuver it really quickly, bring it up. It's a completely different kayak. And plus, the one thing that no one talks about on river kayaking is paddling up current. I'm not talking about rapids. I'm talking about, just a little slow current. You go over a shoal and you want to come, and kind of double back a little bit. You want to hit those little smallmouth areas. Put that skeg down.
Yeah, that's what I love about the RVR over the Shoalie. And the Shoalie, you don't have that choice. You just, if it happens to be windy that day, you're going to be like,
you're spin around.
Is super low. You're going to be spinning around. Now you can make that choice with the RVR, with the drop down skeg or not. It's really just a handle on the side of the kayak. You flip it up, it recesses back into the back of the boat. You flip it down. It's money, and it's curved a little bit more, so you're gonna have a little bit more performance out of it when it comes to turning. So I'm a big fan there. Wyatt, you've been in a lot of river kayaks. Do you even do a lot of river fishing? No,
I haven't been in a lot of river kayaks actually. I'm gonna go fish the Potomac, and I'm probably gonna take my my big water out there, and I'll roll that around with the pod and the place of the pedal drive. So
I'm sensing a theme here. You got the big water, you got the autopilot. And also if anybody is interested in the RVR versus the Shoalie direct comparison, me and Christina did a video on my YouTube channel. If you want to check it out.
Second plug. Dang it, he's one up on me.
Ayo.
Freaking frack. All right, I gotta get two in before the end of the show, or you would have beaten me. 30-second answers for these. Best offshore kayak.
Big water.
I agree with the big water.
Okay. Walk for someone who's never touched or seen a big water or don't even know what the crap you're talking about.
It's underrated. It's very underrated.
Yeah. Old Town Big Water PDL.
Yeah.
You can do the EPDL with it as well. You can run an EPDL version, but super high sides. So I'll say it's fine in rough water. It's got a very sharp front, so it cuts waves pretty well. Bone dry on the inside, like driest kayak I've ever seen. I've had mine 7 miles offshore, and it's tank. It's tank. Not a ton of tank well storage, but yeah.
Well, you're offshore. I mean, you're needing to cover some ground. You need to get over some surf. You need to cut through some of that. And that's there's a it's an underserved community, the offshore. So I mean, it's offshore fishing does not pay the bills, unfortunately. So inshore is where it's at. There's just more people to sell there.
100%.
But big water is something that is just not on a lot of people's lists when you're talking about offshore. Hobie also does offshore very, very well. I wouldn't take a pro angler out there, but they've got specifically island kayaks that are built for that specifically. So
there you go. All right, next one. Best beginner kayak. Now, I do want to clarify, a beginner kayak doesn't have to be a $400 kayak, right? Not everybody who wants to get into kayak fishing just because it's called beginner is broke, right? So it's also not a $7,000 kayak either. So when I ask you for best beginner kayak, the kayak that you can get into and not feel like you have to upgrade right away, like you could feel comfortable, add to it, and in a couple of years still be in it and be like, okay, I'm still like not run out of room, not feel like you can't motorize it. So the best like grow into kayak, beginner kayak, in your opinion.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know where you're going.
I can't answer that one yet.
Can't answer it yet. So not Old Town. I'll go and throw that out there. All right.
Maybe wait a little while.
Oh, I thought he was going to give it away for a second. I shut my mouth. I will find out in the green room, folks.
I do have the answer, just not yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
PWR moment.
I love it. Andy, what do you got?
So beginner kayak, I tell you what, there's a lot of good beginner kayaks out there. So if you're just simple setup, Jackson Bite is a really good one.
What's up with Jackson? I was just at a dealer and they're like, oh, there's Jackson. We're actually not going to carry him anymore. And then they shut their mouths. I'm like, you're not.
They were doing, the dealer here was doing the NARS buy one get one free like last year.
I've never heard of a BOGO on a fishing kayak before. Get these things out of my shop.
Yeah, the NAR.
A BOGO on a.
But I know exactly what he was talking about. So to me, that's the biggest fail in the history of the kayak industry was the Jackson NAR. And the funny thing was, and just inside story, good friend of mine used to work at Jackson Kayak. He has one of the original NARs, the promotional NAR that was made with the plastic that it was supposed to be made with, and it is still running strong today.
Oh, so something happened post.
Yeah,
production model.
Something, yeah. But RS 117 is a good one at $1,000. The Jackson Bite is a good one at $1,000. The Old Town Sportsman 106 is not a bad beginning kayak. The 120 is a little better, but it's a little bit higher. And the Crescent Light Tackle, the Light Tackle 2 is something that is, a lot of people don't talk about. It's $11.99. It's a great paddling kayak with a frame seat and just everything you kind of want out of a beginner fishing kayak. When you're talking about the Shoaly and the RVR, you're looking at $1,600+ there. But beginning, just starting out, those would be my picks there.
Okay. Which and this is the last question we're going to ask before we hop into our kind of we actually started that conversation with the NAR a bit, but the worst kayak still being sold in 2026. Which kayak deserves more attention? like the most underrated fishing kayak out there in your opinion?
It's getting attention, but I think all the new canoes. It's yeah. I would go every new canoe.
They're getting the attention.
Yeah,
they're getting the attention. That's definitely things that need to get more attention. And somebody said it or a couple of people have said it in the comments. The Native Propel LTE. So we did a video on that. They actually sent one down to us to just kind of review and test out. I loved that kayak. It was so light. Me and Christina picked it up, and like I was able to grab the side handles and just pick it up on the side. And
it's in the 70s, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. 70s. And you just throw the drive in it and go. It's the best throw and go pedal drive kayak that is out there, and you could still motorize it. You can still rig it up. There's so much to like about that kayak. And I think it was when we reviewed it, I think it was like $22.99 or something like that. That's a high quality pedal drive kayak with internal storage and just gear track everywhere, an adjustable seat, like everything you want, and
a pedal drive that's tested and tried over the last decade.
The same pedal drive that's on the Titan X. 100%. It's the same exact one.
Those drives run for $1,000. So that kayak, really, you're only looking at a pedal drive kayak. If we take the motor out, you're looking at a $1,200 kayak. I don't
know how they did it, but they do it. And like I said, I haven't. I'm sure there's a problem out there that somebody's had somewhere, but I haven't heard any negativity on that kayak, and they have sold a pretty good amount of those.
I did a video on that. I did a review on it. And when I do a review, I scour, do a lot of research, talk to a lot of people who own them, talk to a lot of dealers who own them. And I couldn't find anything at that time. It was fairly new. And I'm always a little late to the game because I like to get in them a little longer before I start talking and giving a review on them. But nonetheless, hey, what's up? There she is. There she is. I like it. All right, so now let's switch gears a little bit here. Let's talk about the worst kayak still being sold in 2026. We already talked about the BOGO, buy one get one. NAR, I think someone in the comment section just said, what did they say? I missed it. Comments are flying by over here. Someone said, yes, they took a bunch of plastic out of the NAR from the pre-production to the production model. Sounds like I don't know who made that decision.
Really?
You don't think I don't think ever taking plastic out. Usually a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, how much plastic are you really saving? 5 pounds of plastic?
Well, what I heard was they changed the company that they got the plastic from between research and development and final production. So I think the intention was good. And you got to remember too, this was a time when fuel was really high and the plastics that these kayaks are made of is petroleum based. So when you're talking about like gas is $4 a gallon, that is going to affect the cost of kayaks, the raw materials. So I think somebody was just trying to be a little too smart for their own good and trying to save a buck. And it was a disaster.
Would it have saved that kayak?
No. Okay. No, if they literally would have just done what they originally were planning on doing, I think it would be a different story. I still don't think it would be a really popular kayak because it's still every single kayak in Jackson's lineup. There's not really a whole lot you can put a bow mount motor on, and there's not really anything you can effectively put a stern mount motor on. They've got mounts back there for like power pole that you can kind of rig up to do a Torpedo or a Newport, but they're so far behind the ball on that, and the industry has really passed them by. I mean, having 8 different pedal drive kayaks is not where you want to be right now. That's kind of where they're at.
Yeah. Low Life Angler says LTE right here. Someone else said, just bought a used LTE and I love it. By the way, if you haven't watched that video on my LTE review, please check it out. Plug number 2. Plug number 2. We're tied. We are tied. I like it. Got some people over here talking about the Kajo. We'll talk about that in a little bit because I have 2 of them sitting in my garage right now. Haven't even seen the water yet. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. Yeah. I know, right? Interesting.
Interesting.
Just got them. We'll talk about that. Because I spent a lot of time with Josh Thomas. And so I spent hours doing interviews. You guys have seen those or not if you're interested in those. But going to be interesting. All right. Where were we at on questions here? Worst kayaks.
Worst kayaks sold in 2026?
I got go for it, baby.
So I'm going to hit an old friend of mine.
Wait for it.
In the gut.
An old friend, good friends, Brooklyn Kayak Company.
They're your good friends?
No.
No. So this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast. Bearded Paddler and I did a podcast last year. They write me. It's like, hey, essentially it was to the degree of we didn't like what you said. We don't think it was fair. And I was like, I didn't say it. Andy said it.
Bus.
I don't have any experience with the Brooklyn Paddle Company, but if you want to send me one, go ahead. Not thinking in a million years they would send me one. So I was like, yeah, here's a address, whatever. Like, there's no chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I run top tier kayaks. Why would you send me your budget pedal drive? Within like a week, it's sitting on my drive. It's like, all right, I got to give it a fair shake. I feel like I gave it a fair shake. A lot of issues when you try to do everything. They tried to be a paddle kayak, a pedal drive kayak, and a motorized kayak all in the same kayak. And you're just going to be, it was just crap across the board, in my opinion. You couldn't really do anything great with any of them. But you have a lot more experience than that. And so they were actually mad at you.
Yeah. And it was funny because they assumed I'd never had experience on any of these. So what I did was mine. So the kayaks that we sold, we sold Jackson, we sold Bonafide, Hobie, Native, even Old Town. And
even Old Town.
Well, I was the only location that we could sell Old Town in. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I liked all of them. But when we did trade-ins. So when people are trading in these budget kayaks, you get to see what they look like after a couple of years of hard use. And you start to notice the same issues over and over and over again. It's not just kind of a one-off thing. And with Brooklyn Kayak, it was just like, it wasn't even a couple of years. Like, hey, I took this thing out, or I ordered this online from Amazon because it was COVID and you couldn't get anything anywhere. And I get it. If you're looking at a Hobie kayak for a couple $1,000s or any brand, and you got this brand that just come out of nowhere during COVID, and they're like, hey, we got this premium fishing kayak pedal drive for $1,000, and you can't even get a good paddle kayak for that much. I was like, yeah, they sold a lot of kayaks. They sold a lot of plastic. And man, and then you saw Brian Latimer, who I have immense respect for and actually enjoy his channel. BLAT, he's got two.
He was like sponsored by them for
he had two BKC kayaks in his driveway. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he's a bass boat guy, and he just like I don't think he knew what he was doing or what he's getting into. He said like, oh, these are great, they're premium, and I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, I got tickled about that for one, that they're watching, so thank you for that, and two, like I said, that one day that got so much hate from them is like, if you hate fishing kayaks and you hate money, you should absolutely invest in a Brooklyn kayak.
And he said it again.
I'll say it again. Every single person.
It's not like they've gotten better, right? It's not like, KKK is on the rise. They're trying to make some changes over there.
Yeah, and if that was the case, I would respect that immensely. It's like they've done the work, they've done the homework, they want to stay in the industry. No, they're just more interested in just slinging cheap plastic and not servicing, not doing anything for warranties, no dealer support, no nothing. It just, we'll sell this stuff all day long. And
feedback was given 100%, right?
Yes.
Not a call, not a conversation, nothing. This is what I'm talking about at the beginning. There's kayak companies who listen, right? There's kayak companies people who work there are actually anglers, right? Understand what anglers want. And then there's other companies who want to move plastic and make weird decisions that make no contextual sense to the fishing industry. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, even great kayak companies fail. You know what I mean? They make a model that just doesn't hit it right, and that's fine. Like, I want people to continue to innovate, but when you're just failing every single year and you're putting out the same product every single year, and you're just you're getting mad at people that are getting upset at the quality or the money, because I mean, let's be honest, $1,000 is still a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It's not that it's just I'm sitting here looking at the comments here.
There's a lot of comments. We're going to get to all those.
Yeah, and knowing who is in the chat also, I think that's what he's laughing at as well. I mean,
all good, man.
Yeah,
you're good.
But I mean, yeah.
All right, next question: which kayak is the most overpriced in your opinion?
I mean, that's an easy one. That's a softball there.
I just pitched it up because I don't think. I mean, I know your answer. Wyatt may know your answer, but I guarantee the 165 live do not know your answer.
I've got two of them, and I'll obviously Hobie, like the Hobie Pro Angler. It's too expensive. You don't get the quality. That's the easy one to me, and it's the EPDL from Old Town. $6,000 electronic assist pedal drive with no spot lock. When you can build a spot lock trolling motor kayak, or even have dual setup on a quality hull for less than $6,000.
Yeah.
You can make the same argument against the Old Town Autopilot. I'm not going to do that because I think the Old Town Autopilot, it's maybe the industry has passed it by a little bit, but it's still relevant. It's still phenomenal. It still gets people out of the box, not having to rig it, throw a battery in it, and you're good to go. Yeah. I have such an immense respect for the Autopilot. But
it's a very niche audience that would be buying the EPDL.
Yeah. But to me, like the EPDL, like it was a good idea, but it was a huge flop because of the price. And you can make the argument that putting it on the big water originally was kind of a mistake because you're selling it to inland fishermen. I think if they would have done it on the Sportsman platform, it probably would have been received a little bit better. But now, I mean, you can get a spot lock trolling motor from Minn Kota, or at the time it was Motor Guide, and I'd like to see more innovation in the bow mount industry. But yeah, I mean, you can do a lot of stuff. You got a stern mount spot lock motor now. It's like you can do a lot of stuff, and you can just throw it on there, and a quality hull like a Bonafide or an Old Town, or the Old Town Sportsman Pro, that's made ready to go. You just hook your motor up to the bow or stern and go. So but yeah, that EPDL, it felt.
Have you ever seen one in the wild? Wyatt? I have never seen one in the wild.
Other than mine, whenever I'm out there, Blake has the big water. Blake has big water EPDL. So I mean, I fished with him a good bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we only saw pro staff guys with them. We never but it was exciting. People got really excited about it when because that launched at ICAST, didn't it? If I remember right.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of hype and a lot of excitement around it. It just seemed like when people heard the price, I mean, maybe, and if there was a spot lock capability, I feel like that would be something that they could do. And then they could probably.
My thoughts are if you made the big water EPDL and marketed strictly for saltwater, it would have done a little better. Right. Like, because trolling for kings, trolling for sales and stuff like that, kill it out there.
Oh yeah.
You got William Queen in the comment section saying, I love my EPDL, but I didn't pay $6 for it. I only paid $4. So it
that's a different story. There's more value. There's more value.
I would imagine that either he got it used or people are just trying to move it from the stores, right? And they need to discount it to.
That was a thing. Old Town.
I do wish I had spot lock. There's a comment in there. Yeah.
So as good as Old Town is, and as a cult-like following as they have, and for good reason, they're one of the best quality fishing kayaks out there. There's a lot of dealers having a lot of problem moving them because they really did saturate the market pretty good during those 2020 to 2023, and this was when it was hard to get kayaks. You can get Old Towns, so we got a lot of Old Towns out there. Well, now there's so many of them out there, and you're seeing some really good deals out there. You're seeing some good deals on EPDLs. That does not mean that Old Town makes a subpar kayak. It's just the bubble might have burst before they realized that, and they really got a lot of inventory out there, which a lot of dealers, which I was part of that, we were hungry for it. We needed it really bad. And that 2022 market saturation, that put a lot of people out of business. And you're starting to see that even now, but I feel like we're kind of leveled out here in the last year or so, and we're set for a really strong run in the industry, I feel.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting question. I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit. Which kayak has the biggest gap between marketing and reality?
Ooh, I'm just going to throw it out there. The Ascend 133X.
Oh, walking into Bass Pro Shop now.
I mean, but what did people get more excited about is a kayak with a bow mount spot lock trolling motor, a package deal. You can just walk into Bass Pro with your club card and just slam it on the counter, and you can be out there fishing. That is the worst kayak I've ever been in, bar none. Now,
oh really?
Yeah, me.
Walk us through why.
Now, me and Christina did a video comparing the Ascend 133X with the Perception
Got our
Outlaw.
plug on me.
But just standing on it, the Dex Flex is more than I think people realize, because you don't really get to stand in them in Bass Pro. The Deck Flex it flexes the most of any kayak I've been around.
You can't put them in the Bass tank? Come on. Come on, Bass Pro.
I paddled
They
it.
have like ponds inside there everywhere. You just throw it in there. Step on it.
I actually paddled it, which I'm a glutton for punishment. So paddling it, I'm comparing it to the Perception Outlaw. So I mean, it made the Outlaw seem like a speedboat. And then I'm sitting there thinking, okay, how much speed are people getting with this Motor Guide XI3 on it? Like 3.5 miles an hour. Like, there's pedal drive kayaks. A Brooklyn kayak can probably move 3.5 miles an hour if you really push it. But
don't really push it, by the way.
Yeah, don't do it. I think the Ascend 133, I think it was the best marketing. I think it was the marketing versus reality is just such a huge gap on that kayak, because you see so many of them out there. Everyone knows a friend at Bass Pro that they get a 40% discount from. So everybody was able to get their hands on one of them, and man, there's so many of them out there for sale. It look like they've never even been wet. So
I'm gonna plug that video one more time because my dog is in that video.
What video is that?
You can't plug it. You can't use the same plug twice. You're only getting credit for one. It's 3-2.
I'm plugging my dog, not really the video.
Yeah, the fur torpedo or black lab that loved to kept going from one kayak to the other, because one of us was in the other one. So
Pretty sure that was the video where I bit it because she dropped me.
Yeah, your paddleboard.
Paddleboard.
She was my filmer.
Everyone's probably like, where did that female voice come from? Those listening on live are like, what in the world just happened? Wyatt's voice just dropped, folks. So finally, we're so excited for him. Wyatt, what's your thoughts on it? What's the?
I'm gonna get some hate for it. I mean, back whenever I sold Vibe kayaks, I never opened so much plastic. Like the plastic packaging that the kayaks come in, you would cut that bag open and there would just be pieces just laying all inside of it. Every single one of them, just all the plastic broke, all the parts broke, everything was a nightmare.
Oh, you're not talking about like shavings from production. You're talking about
like
broken kayaks showing up.
Yeah, just like pieces of the seat breaking off and pieces of the hatches and the eye bolts all breaking, and just like everything just yeah.
Interesting.
That and I couldn't stand them up inside the store because they would bend. Like just regularly standing inside the store, I put a 12-foot seat, like the Sea Ghost in there, and you take it down and it's like starting to just fold over slowly.
All right. I'm learning quite a bit, actually. So I really appreciate you guys. I mean, I don't know why I forgot this, but Wyatt, I know you've been selling like the beginner kayaks for a long time, and so it's really fascinating.
The new Sea Ghost looks interesting with the redesigned back. I will give it that. It does look interesting, as long as they fix the plastic issues and random every single piece is proprietary on there.
All right, switching gears. New question here. Which kayak is trying to solve a problem nobody has? I mean, we did just talk about the EPDL a little bit.
That was my answer. I had for that is, it was like, who needs cruise control on a pedal drive? They want a motor or they want spotlight.
Yeah. What kayak would you never recommend?
Hobie.
Hobie.
I mean, Hobie's a quality kayak that you don't know where the future is. So I don't know how people are selling them right now, to be honest with you, because they still are supporting dealers. Supposedly, they're still going to work through dealers, from what I hear, for warranties and things like that. But they're still selling them at Bass Pro. So I don't know any paddle shop that wants to compete with the largest big box fishing store in the world that has a dealer network that no kayak shop even gets close. But yeah, I mean, it's that would be mine.
No, I like it.
They got Viking kayaks. Is that the other still out there?
You know,
yes,
they are still out there.
I've heard some noise on them here too.
There was some noise recently because they were.
I think you're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, we're talking about some beef some
drama.
Place. It wasn't necessarily like the company; it was just like somebody in the company that was taking shots back and forth about stuff happened years ago, but I actually don't know a lick about Viking kayaks. Never been.
It's the same kayak, different name. Honestly, I mean, I know people are going to hate this because there's a lot of people that are happy with these, but Vibe and Feel Free, and they make some okay kayaks, but they're pretty much the same thing. They're the Alibaba kayaks is what some people call them, or it's low density plastic. You can't really effectively plastic weld those kayaks because it is a different density. It's the same reason, and this kills me. And I've got some video footage of me melting a Lowe's. Someone had taken a Lowe's bucket. You see this big blue and tried to plastic weld. It's not the same. People that say it's the same, it's not. I just took a heat gun and just flashed it on there and it just ran off like water. The melting point is different. Everything is different. It matters. And when you're dealing with these other kayaks, if you get a hole in it or a pretty good puncture or a pretty good rip, you're not going to be able to twist and blend plastic in with it. You're going to be slapping flex tape on the side of it to stop the water leak and just pray to God it doesn't happen while you're out there in the middle of the water. So
yeah, I know when I got my UMAX, it actually comes with pieces of plastic, right, that you can plastic weld in case something happens to it. And so
color matched.
Yeah,
awesome.
100%. When I had my first pedal drive, the Native Slayer Propel 10, I sat too fast down on my seat and it cracked right around the seat area. So I put some metal mesh in there and plastic welded it, and it held up like a boss for like a year afterwards. And so if you have a quality kayak, which certain HDPE, you can do that too. However, some kayaks you think you'll be able to fix and you cannot. And it's kind of like once it happens, you're kind of done, or you're limping it along until you find something else. Freshwater Pursuit said, "Hey Daren, plug the Big Adventures video about the packing and the shipping portion." You know what, Freshwater? I think I will. If you haven't checked out that video, when I went into Big Adventures and showed the processing about how they make new canoes and bona fides, 110,000 views.
Phenomenal company.
You should go check it out. And Andy, we are 3-3 for shameless plugs, my friend.
I tell you what, I hear a challenge. I hear a challenge. I kid.
I'm gonna go a question over here coming from Don Queen 8170. Any thoughts on Hammerhead kayaks? Once again, another company that I've never had any experience. I mean, I've heard of them before, but never had my hands on one.
So Hammerhead, they're okay. I'll plug my friend James here at Midwest Kayak Company. Midwest Kayak Company in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Plug. That was for somebody else. Yeah,
it's just it's a quality paddle shop, and he got his start selling Hammerhead kayaks, and he said they were great. Again, it's a company. We'll get into this, I think, with one of the other questions you got here, but it's a company that doesn't pretend to be USA made and manufactured and all this. Like they don't hide from what they are, and that's fine. It gave a cheap pedal drive option. You had parts availability, you had service. Now, it wasn't the best dealer service there is, so I mean, you don't expect that from some, but they were probably the ones that maybe supported their dealers a little bit better. And you had warranty support, you have a point of contact, you had, they did it right. They did better probably than anybody else that kind of fits in that niche. Obviously Brooklyn Kayak did it worst of all of them. Hammerhead was probably the top tier of the bottom edge, I guess you could call it. But yeah, it's it's not gonna be something you're
quite the glowing review there.
Yeah, well,
you're the top edge of the worst.
If you ask anyone from Hammerhead, they're not going to sit there and tell you that they're going to dethrone the bona fides and the new canoes of the world. They're just trying to get people out on the water. I mean, I don't have any like personal experience with them. I know of dealers that have worked with them, and they said they got us kayaks when we really needed them, and our customers liked them, and they still like them. Now, those customers eventually will buy a step up, they'll buy a new canoe or, a Crescent or, but Hammerhead's kind of had a place there. It's just like any of those other companies. You don't see them doing it for a long period of time. And that's the one problem with those pop-up companies is their shelf life is not really that long. It's hard to make it in the industry and have sustainable success in it.
Yeah, that's a big problem if you think about it, because you're going to likely have to service in some way, especially the more parts and pieces that it has to it. And if they're no longer around, you are stuck, right? Or you're working with the secondary market trying to Frankenstein this thing back together so you can get out in the water.
And those companies are always going to do direct to consumer also. So, I mean, they're, when I say support, the dealers can get parts for it, but those customers can also buy it directly from them for the same price anyway. So, I'm not always a big fan of that model because it doesn't benefit the consumer as much as you think it would either. So,
yeah. Now, here's a question coming in from Matt Neolette Jr. And I actually like this kayak. It's actually one of my top 3 picks for a beginner kayak. Any opinions on the Perception Outlaw? Because that price point, especially if you buy it on the used secondary market, you can get this kayak for $700.
If you buy used, I remember when the new kayak was $700.
Yeah.
It went up pretty quickly.
It's like 8 or 9 now.
Yeah. When you're pushing $1,000, that's a little different it's a different kayak in my opinion. Because when you get to 1,000, the Jackson Bite is a lot better than the Outlaw, but the Outlaw is more stable. It's got a higher seat. It's the perfect, guy don't care if he's fishing or not. He's just out there having a good time, lounging around.
Yeah.
But if you want something that performs a little bit better, because they're both 11.5 foot long, they're both the same width, they're both the same relative weight, both have around the same, like 425 pound capacity. So they're very, very similar. But when you put them next to each other, people just always gravitate to that really high seat position, and the kayak is designed for that. So it's a great kayak. I love it. And then there's so many of them out there because they've been making them for so long that you could get them for $600, $700, and it's the same
for $550. It's like, you got to be kidding me. That's a steal for a first time kayak.
That's a different kayak at $550 than it is at $1,000.
100%. I love it. Love it. All right. Other questions I have for you. Let's start to get into some kayak specific. What do you think the biggest launch of 2026 was? Like the biggest success story? Like, these are just kayaks that launched this year.
The UMAX. Now I'll say this though, the UMAX, I don't know that they did the best job marketing it like they should have, because it wasn't something that just turned the industry over on its head. It's an upgraded unlimited.
Yeah. 100%.
So, if somebody has an XTR, they're not going to switch to the UMAX. If somebody has the UMAX, they may not switch to the XTR. It's just, there's not one over the other. It just fills a niche for the new canoe. For me, the selling point was I wanted more space and I wanted performance. It's hard to find a 13.5 foot kayak that is not 150 pounds or more, and it performs well. And you can do it. It is rated for 2 motors. So that is, you can do 2 motors on a lot of kayaks. This one is actually rated for it. So
also rated for a 3 horsepower.
Yes. And you can make the argument, you can technically put a lot more on it. That's just probably legally how much they're willing to go. So there's a lot of there's a lot of factors that go into that. Yes, you could probably put a 6 horsepower on there if you reinforce it enough, but they're not going to say that, because if somebody goes out there and doesn't do something right, and then they end up getting in a lot of trouble out there in the middle of water, they're saying, well, they rated it at this.
100%. So, there's a little bit of liability that you could take in consideration there.
Yeah, and I'd probably be the same way, honestly.
Yeah. Why? Any thoughts there?
I mean, I just from the fishing world, super interested in the Mimosa, but just want to get out there and see it.
Yeah. I've been in one. It's interesting.
Yeah.
If they can, it's a little loud, right? Yeah. So I've come to the conclusion as a fisherman. I mean, I truly believe this. The louder the motor, you just spook the big girls, right? I mean, it is what it is. And so, yes, you can throttle down and, paddle in and so forth and so on, but loud motors, I'm just not a big fan of them. I'm getting to the point where I don't like fishing around people that have super, super loud motors. And some of these things are freaking noisy, but we'll see. I think the Voya X is actually doing it right. I was at the Bassmaster Classic. I was in one, and they were sitting there listening to feedback, and you kind of didn't hear from them. I think they went back to the drawing board, and I think probably, looked. I know some of the feedback we gave them. I'm seeing some of the new kayaks coming out, and they took some of that feedback, so they're listening to anglers, which I think is really.
Imagine that.
I know, right? And so it's like, okay, this kayak company might actually be doing it right. So we will see what happens there. 160 live right now. If you have not yet done so, hit the like button. All right, getting a lot of comments over here about the Flux Jet. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. It's interesting. They made a post earlier today. I want to read this because they saw that Andy and Daren and Wyatt were going to do this.
I mean, they're in the chat.
They're in the chat. I love it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
They said, do you think FluxJet made the list? We've had a lot of people asking for more independent reviews, customer feedback, and blah, 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 blah. And they basically asked people to, hey, do you think they made the list? And then they wrote, one thing we'd ask, if you're going to review, compare, or discuss the FluxJet, make sure you've actually spent time around the kayak first. I've seen a few reviews and opinions from people who haven't been on one, haven't seen one in person. In some cases, haven't even talked to an owner.
Who can talk about it? Nobody has it yet. You got pro staff guys.
There's a few people.
Like, and I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying it just, you're going to, if you're going at ICAST, last year's ICAST, I should remind you're at last year's ICAST, you do a tremendous amount of content and reels and short form stuff. And you get so many people excited. You've taken a lot of money. And you gotta have a little thicker skin than that, because I've seen some feedback that they come at with people that are complaining about this. These are hardworking people. These are the people that are keeping your doors open. And to be, it's like, hey, people need to be patient. Like you're talking about, they've shelled out some real money. Most of them that I know of have paid in full, and they're still waiting. So to me, that is the epitome of patience. I'm not going to throw any business owners under the bus, but there are some people out there that have been, when they're selling these kayaks, they're putting their name and attaching it to that company. So it doesn't matter if it's Old Town or Bonafide or any of these, so you got to be careful with that. But people have a right to be frustrated. And I'm not saying I've never said it's a bad kayak, because I don't know. I've never been in one. I've just seen the video content, and I've talked to people behind the scenes about what has gone on there. And, there's nothing, there's no super red flags maybe, but it's just, people are getting tired of saying, okay, it's another month. And they've been told that for about 7 or 8 months now. So people are getting their refunds. People are switching to different kayaks, and you kind of wonder, we're getting close to July here. In my opinion, July is the end of the kayak season as far as buying kayaks. Dealers, they typically do their preseason ordering around September, October, and they start hitting the floors, 2027s. Nobody wants to buy more 2026s to put on their floor when 27s are going to start hitting. So, that's my thing on it. That's my shoebox there. But yeah, you can't get mad at your customers when your customers have a right to be. You could say, hey guys, we understand, we appreciate your patience. We understand if you want to go somewhere else, but just know that we will be getting out these. To me, I'm sorry, it happens. I feel like most people understand that. Maybe not everybody, but come and say is like, hey, you guys can't be talking about this because you haven't experienced it. Well, most people haven't. So that's all you can do is talk about it and kind of give your opinions on it. And as long as we label them as opinions, I've never once said that I'm in this kayak and I hated it. I've never said that. So
what I like about FluxJet, right? The idea, right? The pure idea. No one's really done this on a kayak before. And so I was like, okay, this has a lot of promise. I've actually seen the kayak, put my hands on the kayak at ICAST last year. But not to be able to talk about it if you haven't seen one. That's not how that works, folks. You can't FluxJet, you can't throw out all this marketing and talk about it and say, hey, we're gonna have demos at ICAST. And they reached out to me 6 months prior to it and like, hey, we want to get you guys to try it out. I kept following up, nothing. Did a demo, nothing. Did a video on it at ICAST, and they're like, hey, in not having the demo, we want to fly you out there and to do a review on it in San Diego or wherever they're at. That never materialized, and I haven't talked to them. I don't think maybe it's a month after ICAST, and so I can't give any thoughts on it. I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, what's your thoughts on a FluxJet? Because they assumed I was going to get one because I was told I was going to get one and never did. So that kind of pisses me off when companies tell me one thing. I then take that at face value, tell my people that it's coming, and then it doesn't come because they didn't follow through. Now, that said, I want FluxJet to succeed, right?
100%.
Watching some videos, it's like, okay, looks promising. But until I get my hands on one, we will see what happens. But so far, I'm they put stuff out every day. And they're getting kayaks out the door. There might be hundreds out there in the field right now. I think they're showing up daily, so we will see what happens. But me, that's still like there's nothing more to talk about. Like I don't know what to talk about. There's no one that I trust that has actually done like a review, got into the wiring, started doing some of the tests that I would be doing on kayaks. I mean, I think I know. I can look at the kayak. There's a lot I can tell from the kayak. Right? I think there's a lot to be desired when it comes to the design of the actual kayak. I think the motor is the spectacle, the crown,
the star of the show
of that kayak. That motor needs to be on a better fishing kayak, in my opinion. I mean, as far as design is concerned,
it needs to be on a rotomolded kayak. And I'm not saying it needs to be on another brand, but it maybe if they get successful enough that they can bring some hull production, they can rotomold a thicker density and have a heavier duty fishing kayak. People that are ordering these kayaks right now don't want to hear that, because they're essentially funding research on another kayak by whatever's going on right now. So
have you heard there's a next kayak in design?
I haven't heard anything concrete. No. I can't imagine that they're not. I mean, you want to start designing the next best thing, like what are you going to follow up with? I almost feel like they would have been better off debuting it at this year's ICAST than last year's. And, I would have had the promo ones in the hands of pro staff, basically what they're doing right now. And
they
then
say they don't have a pro staff. That was actually
you know what I mean. Like the people that are pushing content out, your TikTokers and stuff. You're gonna put them in kayaks and get that content out, and then you're ready to deliver on that. That's a much better look, and as opposed to, well, I gave money to the shop, or we ordered it online. I got some emails, but we don't know, and it just you lose trust. And then if you do come out with that bigger, better product down the road, man, you're going to have those people that are just, you kind of lost in the beginning. You fumbled the ball at the goal line almost there.
Yeah, I am definitely in a wait and see. I'm in a
cautiously optimistic.
I haven't even covered anything Flux yet since the ICAST, because I'm like, okay, I don't want to necessarily attach my personal brand to this yet, because I don't know the guys well enough, and two, this kayak is wildly untested in the field for any significant amount of time. So we'll see. I wish you the best, Flux Jet. We will see what happens. Yeah. And
do your thing.
Yeah. You guys freaking nail it. All right. Let's keep moving on, because we haven't talked about this one. There's been a lot of comments in the comment section. The Camino Journey, right? So we all know the kind of history of Camino Journey. If you don't, I would go check out those interviews that I had with Josh Thomas on it. Boom! 43. Come on now.
I love that you got the tick marks down there.
There's like 2 or 3 or 4 videos on that. So that count as 3 or 4 plugs? I think so. So I just jumped up to 7. Yeah, definitely think so. But no, essentially this company owned by Josh Thomas. Josh started Vibe Kayaks, exited, I think, probably nicely. And then he was like, hey, I want to come out with more premium kayak than the Vibe Kayaks. And he didn't come out with 1. He's like, I'm going to come out with 5. So he has the Camino Journey Outpost, I think in 2 different sizes. He has the Outlanders in 3 different sizes, which are the inflatables. And then he has the Terra. I think it's the Terra, which is like it's like the skiff type of flat. I haven't even seen one yet. I actually have a Outpost in my garage. I just got the pedal drive motor. I have a Outlander in my garage, just blew it up, put the seat together yesterday, and we'll have it out in the water this Friday. And in a couple of weeks, actually, I have some time to fish out of it and see what I like about it. I'll be getting a review out the door for you. I don't like to be the guy who gets a review right out the door after just getting it and just looking at it. So I'm always going to be late to the game while everyone else gobbles up the initial views, because I actually want to fish out of this thing and see, it takes a bunch of different nuanced fishing trips to be like, okay, this is what I don't like in this scenario. You can't do that with one trip out. You just can't. Sorry. So it's gonna take a hot minute for me to get out the door. But your thoughts on Camino Journey? Because I get this thing, I got it delivered by Eco Fishing, and I heard a lot of people have mixed this and that about it. It was like wrapped in carpet and then wrapped in plastic, came flawless. So I know that I think they recently moved over to like a white gloves delivery service. So I'm not sure if that happened between some of the bad experiences, but mine came and it came flawless. And
with Eco.
Yeah, with Eco.
Yeah, it seemed like they at one point they were claiming like 99% damage free, and it seemed like the last probably year you just started to hear a lot more noise around that. So I if they've switched the service, that's good, because I mean, as much as I like to hate on online services, I mean they definitely feel a need.
Yeah,
not everybody
100%.
has a paddle shop, within a couple of hours. So it's, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing more frustrating, and it's bad for the industry when someone gets into it, they spend some real money on that first kayak, and then they comes and it's just damaged. So they think they just get a bad taste of kayaking, not just a bad taste of that experience. So yeah,
I will say the fit and finish on the Kajo, just by unwrapping, I was like, okay, this is everything that Josh said in those interviews is he actually did. So we'll see. I haven't pedaled the pedal drive. It hasn't touched water yet. Stay tuned on that. Any thoughts on any of that line? Any experience, any conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I've been asked about it a lot, and again, I have no hands-on experience because there's just nothing around here that carries it. But the only thing that I always tell people, and it was the same thing when I get stuff about FluxJet. This is early. This is like a couple of months after ICAST. Like, you got to be really careful on the hype, the internet hype. And then the only thing I saw with Kajo was just really trendy TikTok-y reels, and they probably did the best job on it, in my opinion, because it was good stuff. It was, I don't know how else to describe it, but
it was showing up in the feeds 100%.
Yeah, exactly. It was push, and it was out there, and it got people talking, and that's what you want to do with it. The only problem with that is if you have so much hype, you got to deliver on it. And I think the industry needs more of that kind of kayak company. They don't need to be the number one, everything, but they need to be a quality brand at a quality price. Now, the Kajos are, I wouldn't call them
premium price,
entry level price points. So there comes some danger with that. If you're charging a premium price, no matter how good it looks, it's got to hold up, and you got to be able to get support for it, because things happen. It's nothing against anybody, but if you open that thing up and you put it on the water, and the first time you sit on the seat, a buckle breaks or something, or a screw comes out and falls in the lake. Yeah, but how quickly can you get it? What's the support look like? Customer service. That's the number one thing that people like to talk about when there's a problem, but it's not even the first thought when they're buying a kayak. So
100%. And that's the thing you got to think about when buying the kayak from a new company, right?
Yeah.
To be told, no one knows yet, right? Same thing with FluxJet. No one knows, because these things are plastic. It's mechanical. It's a motor. Things are going to break if you're the best or the worst, kayak company out there. It doesn't matter. And so it's still to be decided whether or not how well they take care of their people post-purchase. Same thing with Camino Journey, right? I feel like they actually did a fairly better job of the hype, and then actually got them out the door on time, because I actually knew their timeline, because we talk about it within the context of our interview with Josh. They got it out the door on time. I was like, okay, things are showing up, and now we're getting ready to be into, hundreds of people have them, kind of the same area as FluxJet. Hundreds of people have these things. And so we'll see through the rest of the season if there is a support system and a support team. Now, I would imagine that Josh would have this thing figured out. It's not like his first rodeo, right? 14 years in the business with Vibe Kayaks, not his first time providing customer support at scale. But I'm interested to see what FluxJet does. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Would you know what's the weight cap look like on Kajo?
To be honest with you, I don't remember. I literally just need to get it out of my way and put it up on my lift until I literally will be in it for the first time on Friday. So I'll be breaking all that down. Somebody can look that up for us while we're doing that. What's the weight capacity on the Outpost? If you wouldn't mind. All right, this is good stuff. You got a question for Andy or Wyatt or myself, go and throw that in the comment section. We're going to be landing this plane a little bit. So here's a question for you, Andy. What fishing kayak, in your opinion, feels stuck? I know the answer to this already. Starts with J and rhymes with Raxon.
Well, they're the low-hanging fruit right now. At
500 pounds, by the way.
Yeah. To me, stuck, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to throw it out there. And I've said this a while, and I think if owners of this brand are honest with themselves, they would say they would kind of admit to it a little bit. Doesn't mean it's a bad kayak, but it is Old Town kayak. So, and I'm talking about strictly from just, have they progressed? Have they adapted to some trends? I've been in them. I loved them. They're great, solid kayaks, really good price points still on the Sportsman PDLs. But, you know, storage was an issue. I mean, even just trying to find out where to put my catch board at. Also, if you want a good discount on catch products, you can use my discount code.
Wendell Fishing, 5% off. You probably got a better one than me.
But, you know, yeah, I like Old Town, and people love the brand. It's just, I feel like the industry kind of passed them up a little bit, and now they're catching up. So they've made the Sportsman Pro, which they made thinner gunnels, a bow mount motor, a stern mount. I mean, you can essentially still put a bow mount motor or a stern mount on a Sportsman. So I felt like you're raising the price up quite a bit just to do that. They can still sell the same kayaks. I feel like they can thin out the lineup a little bit, come out with something a little bit more modern, because they still have one of the better seats in the industry. They still have the best pedal drive as far as just reliability and sturdiness. You know, to me, them and Native have the two same warranties. You know, so that was another thing with Old Town. It's not a lifetime hull warranty. It's a manufacturer defect warranty. And, you know, Native and Bonafide have the same thing. It doesn't mean if you abuse it and it cracks, they're just going to send you a new hull, no questions asked. You know, it just, warranties are tricky like that. But yeah, I think to me, Old Town seems kind of stuck. They've got a lot of product out there on the market right now, and it's hard for dealers to justify ordering a lot more stuff when they've got kind of an abundance of inventory out there. But something new, I think, would refresh it, be an added refreshment of the lineup. It would help move the other units. If you had something, you know, people are coming there to look at Old Town. The EPDL might have been that, but it just kind of fell flat. So I would say Old Town. Jackson, obviously, Jackson's been stagnant for, it feels like decades now, but I mean, it's just been a few years. They're a whitewater company that wants to dabble in fishing kayaks, it feels like now. And you're kind of seeing that where they don't know what direction they're wanting to go. I think they know. Yeah, they stopped making their best kayaks. They keep producing the kayaks that, you know, nobody wants except the bite. And it's sad, because I feel like they were one of my favorites there for a little bit, and dealer support has gone way down. You know, to my knowledge, Ozark Mountain Trading Company does not do Jackson kayaks anymore. They were at one time the largest Jackson retailer.
Oh, wow.
And
quite
Tulsa,
a fall from grace. Yeah.
And Tulsa Kayak was kind of 1A, 1B with OMTC on Jackson. They're out of business. So
yeah. Well,
they're selling kayaks to, I don't know.
I was just at a dealer picking up my kayak. Video coming out Thursday. Plug.
Oh, I didn't even see it coming either.
I know, right? I didn't even set that one up. Boom. And they had 4 Jacksons, and they essentially said, we're not going to be carrying Jacksons anymore. And I asked a few questions, and they just got tight-lipped. And I was like, all right, I understand your position. You can't say things right now that I could say. So I said all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I said it was just, they're not carrying it. It's like, if you're not carrying it, I mean, they're not selling.
Yeah.
Right. And
I challenge you to find a dealer that has a good relationship with Jackson Kayak right now. It's not there anymore.
I mean, from outside looking in, I don't know a ton about it. It's like they don't even care that they're losing.
Yeah, they don't listen. And I've been on the side of that. They don't listen to their people, and the people that had very valuable opinions are gone. Whether they're pushed out or they left on their own accord, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And what you got essentially is you got a lot of people that are just yes men. And when I'm giving feedback, and I give feedback, I give some pretty negative feedback behind closed doors, but it's to make them better. I want these people to succeed because we're representing that brand. And it's met with just a lot of pushback. And I'm like, well, our research development, they said that you're not thinking about this. Like, no, I'm thinking about it. That's why I'm telling you. And then they're going to bring, they're going to unveil these great 2 brand new fishing kayaks, and it's the Big Rig and the Cruise FD. 2 kayaks that didn't sell in the past, so they quit carrying them. 2 years later, they're just bringing them back.
Whip out the mold again.
Yeah,
We already got the 40K sunk in the mold cost. Let's just go ahead and put lipstick on that.
Yeah, so then they had a $4,200 kayak in the NAR, and then they brought back
BOGO, by the way. BOGO. I don't get one free right now.
And then they got the Big Rig now, or now it's different. At $39.99 when it launched. Now they come out with a 30% off. So they cut the price of their pedal drive kayaks by like 30%. Well, there's dealers that still have kayaks on their floor from the previous years that they're not crediting those any. So they're literally just they're punishing
kayaks sitting on their floor. They can't get rid of.
They're punishing the people that helped them grow, and it's not a good look.
Wyatt, he took shots at Old Town. You gonna give him some hands? Come on.
I mean, I didn't say anything wrong.
Trying to figure out what I can say here. I mean, I
need to pick your brain. Apparently, you have some information in there.
I'm on the phone with them every couple of weeks. So hopefully we're gonna get the pond won't be stale for too much longer.
Okay,
they're not a stupid company either. They know what they're doing. They've been in it longer than most, and I'm not worried about Old Town whatsoever. It just
the autopilot's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, and get a 55-pound motor in there. It just little things like that. You can do some modern features because the autopilot is what started the motor craze, in my opinion. So like, what, a motor on a kayak? That's ridiculous. And then now it's like everybody wants one.
So Wyatt, what I loved about what you just told me is that you're on the phone with them every other week, right? So that's telling me this is a company that listens to their pro staff.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Wow, novel idea.
That's a
novel idea. We did get a question over here.
Too.
Yeah, right. That I skipped over, and I'll answer it. And of course, I'll let Andy, and I have a feeling he's going to answer it the same way. But the best customer service in the game, and it's New Canoe.
Yes,
by far.
And then Big Adventures is a close second.
100%.
Old Town is right on the heels of them, because I mean, if you claim to have a lifetime warranty on the hull, but people are getting shafted by the companies or the shops, you're going to hear about it. You never hear about that. Mm-hmm. So they're taking care of their people. They're listening to their people, which again blows my mind, because there's people fishing in kayaks and they may have some really good input. And sometimes you can be a little too close to the light, so you don't see some things, and you'll get somebody that they've never kayak fished before and they took it out once. It's like, this would be kind of neat if we did, we had this. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that, because I'm so focused on, the angles and the mold and getting, so listening to your people is just blow your mind concept. And pro staff that actually give good feedback. So that was another thing. Pro staff, there's good pro staffs, and there's pro staffs that just come to their free boat and
they're yes men, because they don't want to jeopardize their pro staff deal. Yeah. So there's a conflict of interest there sometimes.
You got to keep that 10% discount. But yeah, there's some very valuable feedback, because I mean, you want feedback. If I'm a company and I'm designing something like that and I'm wanting to charge the money that it, a little bit above the cost that it takes to design and test and do all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, I want people to tell me maybe some stuff I don't agree with, but you got to have that feedback. You got to have that pipeline of like, hey, this thing sucks. This is going to, it happens. And then you go back to the drawing board and you just keep developing. It's got to wait a year. But get the right thing out there, because people remember that. We're still talking about the NAR, for God's sakes. I mean, that kayak came out years ago, and we're
talking about the buy one, get one free deal.
Yes. But it says, but that's a hell of a deal. You get 2 kayaks for the price of one.
Use one for patchwork plastic.
Exactly.
Want to get you out there, want to get you
Instead
back.
of a little bag,
Absolutely.
you actually got to tow the other one. Just to
Get you a
yourself
lighter,
back.
get you a little patchwork. Yeah, it'll get you there. It'll get you back.
It comes with 6 repair kits. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's an adventure every
Crazy.
time.
Wyatt, I am curious. You hop on the phone with Old Town. You tell them you strike me as someone. You're like, you know what, I love the Old Town pro staff. If you kick me off of it because I said something you don't like, you're like, Wyatt strikes me as someone like, I don't care. If that's the reason. So whenever you do get feedback, what are these individuals on the other end of the phone? How are they receiving that? Or is it show, or is it like, okay, thank you, we're taking notes, we'll take this back to our team? Or is it like, okay, yeah, thanks Wyatt, appreciate your feedback again?
It's taking notes because I'm not the only one. It's going against, there's a panel of people, and they'll call me, what do you think of this if we did this? What do you think of that if we did that? And do you see any pros, cons doing things this way? Do you like just the layout and stuff like that? And it's nice to get, it's the EPDL. I didn't get any questions asked about it, so it was kind of dropped on me, and I feel like we could have given a little bit different feedback had some questions been asked. But
That's crazy.
Yeah,
wow, it's weird.
Oh, wow.
There's a couple new people at the on the Old Town design team, and they're pretty open to feedback.
Good.
So what's the craziest thing you've discussed with them in the last couple of weeks? Go. 30 seconds. Go.
Come on, Wyatt, go, spill it.
Yeah, I got to turn that live off.
Yeah, what's the new kayak showing up at ICAST?
Yeah, go. You gotta get some drinks and Wyatt there and get him to talking a little bit.
Wyatt drink. I don't know if he does.
We got to start if you're going to get that information out of probably.
Speaking of ICAST, let's kind of segue the show. What's the biggest thing you expect to see at ICAST outside of urchin craze? What's in the context of kayaks? Obviously, I think you're going to see a bunch more weird inflatables because I think they're so easy to spin up. So I think you're going to see a bunch more of those booths everywhere.
I think
Morse and stuff like that. But
I think inflatables is a good market, though. I
feel like you kind of
and I think most people are scared of inflatables, and I understand that. But you're talking about like. With inflatables, I mean, NRS made some really good inflatables. I've taken these things out on the river, and they're great. And they say, well, it's not going to last the way I use it. You'd be surprised. People have been going down the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon on White River rafts for longer than a lot of us have been kayak fishing. So the fact that they're saying, oh, you rake it up a couple of rocks, it's going to pop. Like, not necessarily. It's not your pool raft, but yeah, the NRS CUDA and the NRS was it Pike, man. But they were great and great frame seat, and it was like and Hobie makes a good inflatable, but yeah, it's a market.
Systems, the ITAK,
absolutely, absolutely. The iAttack. These are all really great
inflatables
options.
Forever. Kajo just came out with one. It's a pedal drive.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that one.
And I said I even represent a company that makes air pumps. Outdoor Masters, code the Paddler.
By the way, I'm going to second that opinion. I don't have a coupon code for you, but that is the best pump, and I've used like 3 or 4 for inflatables.
It's stupid. Yeah, and I'm not going to go too long on this, but it's an internal power source, so I power my cameras, my outdoor cameras, my phone, everything, and I can inflate a kayak stupid quick. And it's half the price of the boat pump that we had before. So it's phenomenal. And they just sent me the Shark 3, and they just sent me the Shark Mini, which is a smaller version, more kayak friendly. It's a little slower, but it's got 2 compressors in it, which is crazy. Yeah. But there's so much, and my code will save you 15%. So I'm just saying.
I don't have a code for you folks. So they sent me one. I was like, I might talk about it. And here it is, Outdoor Master. This is me talking about it. I actually am a fan. I blew up my Outlander yesterday. I blew it up in like you set it to the PSI, right? Because you actually
it's digital up and down. It's super easy to do. Yeah,
it'll blow. Then it'll like it's wow, and it'll stop for you so it doesn't explode your kayak, even though there's release valves on it stuff. But man, it was wild. Add it to the plug tally.
I was just saying to say,
plugging machine tonight.
I did not see a tick mark go down for me there.
I'm gonna give you got like 7, I got like 11 or something like that right now.
Oh my god. Well, I did do a video on it on my YouTube channel, The Bearded Paddler on YouTube. You can also follow me on Facebook at Bearded Paddler, first name, last name.
I'm gonna get that at the end, so I feel good there.
Yeah, and then you can also listen to me on Destination Kayak.
Oh my gosh,
wherever you get your podcast.
Especially last week when I was on, by the way.
Yeah.
So you guys go check that one out. That's kind of a plug for me, so I'm gonna count that.
Great conversation, by the way.
There's no shame in your game, Mr. Dill.
No, well, over here. Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We're talking about Old Town's coming out with inflatable at ICAST, and Wyatt was just about
and then
to
Wyatt was just getting ready to spill the details.
By not saying anything. All right, we finally got him to give an answer. Inflatables from Old Town.
Heck yeah.
I actually know some things I can't talk about, but I'm pretty sure is going to be there. So
yeah.
Usually there's a company that usually always comes out with a new kayak at ICAST. Here's something that's interesting that I found out from being at ICAST last year, right? Some of the like number one kayak companies in the business don't put in their kayak to the new to win an award, right? And they don't do this because they don't want it to get out, out and about, and kind of get soaked in the media because there's media plays behind this. And so I don't know. And I looked at that. I'm like, okay, do I even look at the ICAST awards?
No.
If with any type of like weight or gravitas, and I don't. Like I saw literally last year when I'm going through like stickers. Are you kidding me? I think Busby put in stickers. Like you're just trying to win an award to post it somewhere for stickers. Come on. I saw stickers, and I got not even all the kayaks are being represented. So FluxJet won. However, the Hammer wasn't even in the competition. So
exactly
things you got to take into consideration.
And what I remember the previous year it was the Tactical Pro from Wilderness won Best in Show, and the XTR was and it was like I love that. It's like, and when you see it at a paddle shop, it's got the stickers on it. They lean into that ICAST Kayak of the Year. I was like, slow down a little bit there.
Yeah, slow your roll.
Yeah,
I'll be calling that out this year very, very clearly, just to let everyone know, because it's easy to get caught up in the hype. You see them posting it, and they post it left and right and up and down, and they use it in their marketing materials for the next 6 months, and everyone kind of forgets. Wait a second. The XTR wasn't even, and we all know where the XTR is today. Like the
I think actually the pro staff guys have to get it tattooed on them somewhere that it was the ICAST Kayak of the Year to get that kayak. So yeah, it is what it is. But I mean, I get it. It's marketing at its finest, but it's kind of, I just wish ICAST just wouldn't do it personally. Just let people be secretive going into it, build it up. It's not like it sold more kayaks for Wilderness Systems than it wouldn't have anyway. It's an exciting looking kayak.
Yeah. Same
thing with the XTR. I mean, you don't need a fluff of an award or a certificate. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't take it home with them. Like, okay, we'll put it in the warehouse or something. But they're there to show off their kayak. And to me, the ICAST it's a fishing expo that's kind of turned into a kayak, and that's a weird time to launch a kayak in July. That's a different conversation there, because what happens? Wilderness System and Bonafide, they get an exciting kayak in July. Well, you still got dealers trying to sell 2026 stuff, and then you got customers saying like, "Wait, this is coming out next year. I'm just going to hold off and I'm going to order this one." So they really need to do that in the fall or in the early spring. But right in the middle of the year is kind of a weird time to launch that great kayak, but everybody's doing it, so I'm not going to fault anyone for doing it, because if they don't do it, somebody else will.
Yeah. All right. So here's a question for you. Bold prediction. What will everyone be talking about after ICAST?
Propulsion. I'm not saying that off of any insider information. There's only so much you can do to a kayak hull. You're going to look at, the new kayaks coming out are going to be rigged a little easier, maybe set up a little bit, but to me, propulsion needs to be what people are talking about moving forward, because right now we got the Minn Kota Tarova. We've got, that's really it. Without really modifying stuff down, people are still buying motor guides on Marketplace. I mean, there's kayaks that are made specifically for bow mount. I mean, I think when they said that they were doing away with with the motor guide, and then there was going to be a big gap there between when the new stuff was coming out, you kind of heard New Canoe specifically just kind of like, because they have kits that they literally sell on their website for that specifically. So, you got the Garmin, you got the Torpedo, you got the Newport. There needs to be some players in there, and there's some huge boat motor players out there. So I would like to see that. I mean, if Bassmasters is going to lean into kayak fishing, these other companies, they need to lean into it also, because there's a huge market. I don't think they realize that these aren't for the serious tournament anglers. These are for the weekend warriors. They're putting motors on kayaks. They're buying batteries, buying motors. They're rigging stuff up. They're buying the wire kits. Like, they're spending money on this, and there needs to be more competition, more price competitive stuff, more premium stuff. The Power Pole Move, when it came out, like, everybody thought that was the stupidest thing because it was like $5,000. Now everybody's wondering where they can buy it.
100%.
Like, take my money. It's fast. It's quiet. It lasts a long time. It's quality built. Yeah, that's a different story now. So,
and the Lowrance going to be coming out with the Recon upgrade.
That's what I've heard.
See what happens there. This is what I want. I want somebody to create some competition in the stern-mounted motor category where Bixby cuts off and where Torpedo begins.
Yeah, that's a big gap too.
I need a Newport competitor that not doing all the things that people keep sending me photos of broken lift arms and loud kayaks, and I've had experience in wonky warranties. I need a competitor there.
Yeah.
And it might be Torpedo, right? They got picked up by Yamaha. They haven't really seen a whole lot of
backing for it. So.
Crazy movement, but it's like, my gosh, you guys have the money to really own that category as well and slide into it, and also provide a quality motor, because that's what I want to see. I don't think it's coming at ICAST, but
but it's whether it does or not, like, we need it, and
we need it.
Yeah, I even Newport, like, I have a discount code to Newport. I don't share it because I don't want to attach my name to it. What they might as well just go direct to customer, because they're not supporting dealers. And that's the only reason I got that big discount I was talking about when I bought my NK300, was they'd screwed up so many stuff for our customers that they just kind of gave us a deal on some stuff if we ordered more. And I mean, yeah, sure. But I've had crickets before when we try to get a hold of Newport on, warranty stuff for customers. I'm thinking, okay, for $600, $700, like, I'll buy one. And if it craps out, I'm not even going to ask them for different parts, or like, it's just going in the trash. I mean, my next stern mount motor will be either a Torpedo or a Garmin. But nothing against people that's running Newports like that. If it's working for you, it's great. But I would love to represent a company that is going to represent themselves a little bit better than Newport's done in the last few years. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you. I'm not a
I'm
not gonna sit here and like,
I'm not gonna tear them down or anything.
Try to tear them down, but you don't see me.
It's not
putting
my
my name or promoting it. I bought one, and then I had the experience that I had, and then everyone around me keeps sending me their experiences because of that. I was like, my gosh, all right.
Yeah, and you can email them and get a discount code. So I'm not hiding anything there from anybody. I mean,
a lot of discount codes.
Yeah, they'll take anything.
I'm friends with some of their like top performing, like, I don't know, call them pro staff, but they had a team, or if you do posting, like, I know I know more than the average bear when it comes to that. Anyways, Jason Reardon said, and this was I think it was in the contextually having, a competitor within that area of Newport. He says, Daren, I can't say much, but let's just say it's coming. Stay tuned to Jason Reardon Kayak in the coming 6 weeks. Oh, man, did you just plug? Yeah, I got a whole other category over here.
That's what I was laughing at. You got to write down. You got to write down Jason now.
Like, so
Jason's got 1.
You got 9. Jason Reardon 1.
Jason, you got some catching up to do though. I don't know how much time we got left. I don't think we got a lot of time. So I would you're just going to spam the comments,
bro. Come on. I just need to call him now and find out the juice afterwards. So I'll be doing that. Let me see. We got a comment here. Garmin has a kayak motor from Rod and Reel. You want to answer that one, Andy?
Oh,
Yeah.
the Force.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
not everyone like lives, eats, drinks, and sleeps kayaks like we do. So
it's a stern mount motor with it's got spot lock. So it's very unique. It's expensive, but again, next year that's going to be cheap. You never know. And if you're interested, you can go to my YouTube channel and check out my bow mount versus stern mount motor video.
Got 10
only at The Bearded Paddler at
We're
YouTube.
at 22 plugs right now for this podcast. It's out of control.
Yeah.
Wyatt, you got something?
This is going off the
The
rails
only thing
here.
is Instagram and Facebook. Wham Fishing.
There it is. Get
Hey,
Wyatt
Lou.
1, Jason Reardon 1, you 10, me 11.
You want
Let
to
me
see
see
the
if I got
walkthrough
it.
of how I rigged out my autopilot? I also have a YouTube video on that.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
me too.
oh man,
Me too.
he's doubled it up just right there.
Well, folks, we are at 2 hours. Can you believe we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes? This was a fun show. Hopefully, you learned something along the way. At the end of the day, I know Wyatt, I know Andy. We want all of these companies to succeed. However, we also have opinions about how they have been, their product and how they operate as a company. And I think it is our jobs to help bring some of that the normal consumer would not know.
That's
and
why you
bring that
watch
to light and explain why. Right? Because at the end of the day, myself and Andy and Wyatt, we work for you, right? You are
100%.
You are my number one supporter. You pay the bills at Wendell Fishing. You help support my family at Wendell Fishing. And there's not a company out there that comes remotely close to the support that we get from all of you guys out there. And so that's why we do things like this to help bring a little peek behind the curtain to the industry that we love and we just want to do better. Right.
Yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
great. It's great for everybody. So that's all I got, folks. I got a lot of comments over here. Sorry we couldn't get around to all of them, but feel free to reach out to Andy, myself, or Wyatt directly. We're on all the socials. But Andy, thank you for your time. Wyatt, you as well. And we see you next week on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's another plug. That gives me 12. I'm the winner tonight. See you guys next week. Bye.